terror, we believe we win.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are joining from. I hope everybody's ready for the Miracle Magic evening call. For those that don't know me, my name is Robert Fitzgerald. I've been with the Miracle ecosystem almost since the very beginning. But without further ado, I'm going to bring up the presenter and trainer. He's not only one of the top earners in the company and leaders, he's been in the industry for decades, spearheaded teams of tens of thousands of people or more with multiple companies. He's been in and out of corporate, help write and design comp plans. He's a retired New York City firefighter, but above all that, he's my friend and sponsor. Ed, take it away.
Awesome, Robert. Thanks so much. And guys, we're gonna have a fun night today. Matter of fact, I'm gonna throw it out there, Robert. We haven't really done this at a good pace, but we're gonna do a meeting after the meeting tonight. We're gonna do a presentation here that's gonna be really good, and we're recording it right now. But it is Friday night, and I know we got a lot of party people in the house, so we'll go into just a little discussion mode, and it goes like this. It's got to be positive. No complaining, no customer service questions, just positivity. And if you can adhere to that, fine. If not, we're going to mute you out. We don't want to hear, everybody's speculations about why and how and all that kind of stuff. Nope, this is all about being positive. We have something incredibly positive about, so we're going to jump right into it. As you can see right here, it says Mediterra Miracle Pay. We want you to know is there's a lot of companies that are all together here. Mediterra is kind of like the parent company right now. It is going on the Nasdaq. We're expecting our stock symbol any day now, and when that occurs and the press releases start to roll, we believe that Miracle Pay and Mediterra are going to become a unicorn. A unicorn is a company that very rapidly ascends to being $1 billion company. And you're going to see the people involved with this company. And if you're here for the first time, this really is for you. Or if you're watching it in a recording, or maybe you just got started, and we're going to share some really extraordinary, valuable information that could help you get grounded in this opportunity. Robert and I are grounded. I said something to Micah and Ray the other day, and at first they kind of like were trying to understand what I was saying, and then they kind of just got it. And that is this. I said, based on what we have with these products, we have a community of people that gets it, and they're stacking products. They're stacking real world assets that pay them. A lot of them pay daily. Some of them now are going to pay monthly. And these are things that are going to appreciate in value. These are things that you could pass on from generation to generation. And so I called it the entrepreneurial handcuffs. I remember the phrase that used to go around in corporate America. People, when they came out years back, when they came out with health insurance, that was a way that they could put corporate handcuffs on people. People aren't going to leave. If we're giving them their health care, if we're giving them benefits that they can't get on their own, they ain't going to leave, right? So there was that term that was created called corporate handcuffs. And based on how spectacular our real world assets are, I said we got entrepreneurial handcuffs on everybody. They ain't going nowhere. When this thing kicks off and we're on the Nasdaq and all those positive pest, you're talking about a company that's going to be featured on the biggest shows, on Fox Business, on Bloomberg, on all the biggest ones. They're already lined up and ready to go. We're going to be on the cover of Forbes magazine. People are going to be talking about crypto and how you can actually pay with crypto at the store, and the company that's accepting them is Miracle Pay. It's just amazing where we are, where we're at. So Mediterra is the parent company. Bellator is the marketing arm. And everything you're seeing here right now tonight is all part of Bellator. I'm here because of Bellator. The founder and CEO of Bellator is a friend of mine, Micah Thierd. That's why I'm here. He and Ray Vidrio, who's the VP of Sales, back in the day, it was back in 2022 when Ray and I hadn't talked to each other in years, and we reconnected. And he just asked me for 5 minutes. He said, "Ed, can I get 5 minutes just to bring you up to speed on what Micah and I have been doing?" I said, "Sure, Ray." And when he started telling me what he was involved in, honestly, you know how you get like you want to, Randy, you know this, right? Like you want to jump in there and tell you what's going on in your mind. That's where I was. I was biting my tongue. I told him I'd give it at about the 2 minute mark, man. I wanted to ask him questions. I wanted to jump right in, but I held my tongue. I waited, I waited, I waited. When he was done, I said, Ray, if what you're saying is true, I'll jump on a plane tomorrow and go to Cyprus. The company's located in Cyprus. And so the next 24 hours, I got on two of these kind of Zooms. By the time this second one was over, I just texted. I said, Ray, my bags are packed. I'm ready to come. 6 days later, I was there in Cyprus, spent a week, got to meet Hakan Torhan and was with Micah and Ray, and just amazing. So I said that because there are multiple companies we're going to talk about. And generally speaking, I've been in direct sales network marketing now for over 36 years, been fortunate and blessed to do very well. And usually we do what we call a 5 point presentation, where we talk about the company, the products, the compensation plan, the timing, and the training and support. We're not going to do timing and training and support right now because the company is so spectacular. The product is so spectacular. And the magic compensation that you're going to take a look at is absolutely off the charts. And if you are that type of person that you're open to the idea of making more money, you got goals, dreams, and desires to do more, to be more, to have more, and you're willing to spend some money to make some money, welcome, you found a home. That's who we are. We are the company is Mediterra. That's the parent company, but we are the miracle company. And you're going to hear about the miracle magic, and you hear about what we're bringing to market, Miracle Pay and Miracle Chain, and all these different miracle companies. We have over 20 of them. And we're not going to go into them in great detail. We're going to talk about the people behind the company. Right here in the upper left-hand corner, that's Hakan Torhan. Hakan is from the financial industry, the banking industry. He has had a spectacular entrepreneurial life where he has created products that have increased sales of companies by the billions of dollars. An absolute genius. He doesn't like to be called a genius. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, when I first heard somebody use that word, I wanted to meet the man, and I met the man. And after working with him, actually meeting him the first time, and as I work with him, in my opinion, I was saying back then, after that first trip to Cyprus, that one of my buddies who's a big time networker, asked me to report to him when I got back. I said, Steve, all I'm going to tell you is it's real. This company is real. We're talking about the real world. We're talking about banking. We're talking about, transaction fees. This is real. They got the technology to accept crypto as a form of payment. And I know that the whole world is going to go crypto. And this is the only company I know of that has all these different technologies. And yes, that's why the next people I'm going to talk about here are here. So off to Hawkins' right is Douglas Anderson. Douglas told me the story. I was fortunate enough. He was in New York City. We had about a group of about 10 people, and we had a chance to have lunch. And I sat right next to Douglas. I was asking him all the pertinent questions. And he told me, he said, I asked him, how did this come together? I mean, a man of his stature, just to give you an idea, he's the president and founder, CEO of a company called Wall Street Capital Partners. When Hawkins started telling me the real Wall Street guys, they want to partner with us, I found out how true that was later on. But when I got to meet him at that time, he said, well, to be honest with you, Ed, I didn't expect anything. I didn't even know why I was going to Cyprus to meet these people. And he said, what I did was I sold my penthouse on the Upper East Side. I moved to Europe because that's where I'm working. I'm working in emerging markets, and I'm taking companies that are the right companies that are emerging, and they have the technology, they have the business plan, and I'm bringing them to Wall Street and putting them on the stock exchanges. And he's done that for hundreds of companies. His company is approaching 30 years in business, and his contact capital is off the charts. The advisor board there's more than this, but the advisory board, I'm going to go over these gentlemen on the bottom row right here. They're spectacular. When I first came about, I said, hey, we got an all-star team here. And then I corrected myself. No, this is the dream team. I mean, these are the best of the best. When you hear who they are and what they've done, it is absolutely amazing that all of them believe that this project that we're working on here can be the biggest project they've ever worked on. So let me substantiate that. On the left-hand side, John Bear. John founded a little company called Cellular One that he sold off for billions of dollars to AT&T. So just to substantiate what I said earlier, he also created the framework and sold off his company. I got to name it something Vine. But remind me, Robert. I got to nail this one and get this done. Uh, and it was purchased by Google, and Google still runs in it today. Then he built another company when in the beginning stages of streaming video.
I don't want to butt in, but it was Widevine.
Widevine. Thank you. No, that's so it was Widevine, and I didn't get the numbers yet, but I did get the numbers on that sale of the company that he sold to Google. I'm sorry, to AT&T, and in the article that I read, it was 1.8 billion with a valuation of over 5 billion. So we're talking about billions all the way around here. And then you look at the guy to his right, Stephen Norris. Oh my goodness, his resume is off the charts. And I shouldn't call it a resume because these types of people don't work for anybody. They're creators, they're innovators, they're billionaires. And Stephen Norris was the chief counsel for the Marriott Corporation, served as for 10 years as the CEO of the Marriott Corporation before he started the Carlyle Group. And the Carlyle Group has over $600 billion dollars of assets under management. And with the Carlyle Group, he's a co-founder with David Rubenstein, and their clientele are people like the King of Saudi Arabia, who has already invested in a project that Douglas Anderson is the CEO of, and it's the build out of a European airport in Romania, in Bucharest, and it's going to be the biggest airport in all of Europe. It's going to be the first ever airport to get tokenized and run on the blockchain, our blockchain, the Miracle Chain. Remember, I was saying before, there's all these different Miracle companies. We're not going to go into each and every one of them today because it takes a lot of time to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the video off because I'm getting distracted over here by people walking around and stuff. Okay, hide video panel, great. So so we have all this going on, and Steve Norris is one of the people, including John Bear. But which, by the way, guys, I was really blessed and fortunate. I got an invite to a gala at the Harvard Club around Christmas time, and it was one of the things that Douglas does twice a year, and we're all there in black tie, and I get to meet these gentlemen, every single one of them, and it just absolutely amazed me how cordial they were, how friendly they were. And the one that I'm talking about right now, Stephen Norris, me and Mita Del Fiero are talking to him, and the gala, the sponsor, and the main information that we shared at the gala was all about Mediterra. That Douglas had taken an active role. He said, "Yeah, I never took an active role with any of the companies I took public. I invested in them a little bit, but to become a chairman of the company, and actually, he said this. He's looking at this company as becoming his song. So Stephen Norris says to me and Mita, when he heard who we were and that we were associated with the marketing side of the business, and he said, "Hey, listen, can we get together tomorrow? I want to talk with you guys and really find out more about what this company's all about." And so to hear that from a man of this kind of stature just blew my mind. Then Stephen Moore, I was so excited to meet him because I've been a fan of his for 20 years. I've seen him on all the business shows on television. He was the economic advisor to President Trump in his first term, and President Trump asked him to become the chairman of the Fed a while back, and he turned it down, and he said yes to Douglas Anderson. Matter of fact, every single person that Douglas wanted to get on this advisory board, not only did they all say yes, they're all ecstatic, and they all say the same thing, that this could be the biggest project they ever worked on. I mean, think about that. Stephen Norris, he talks about a little company, a startup that he helped fund, and what they were looking for is they wanted to do a retail of a bookstore on the internet, and uh, and that was Jeff Bezos and Amazon, and he had the licensing to the books, and he sold them the book deal, and then raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and in that one they built a $1 trillion company, and so you think about all the people that have worked with him in the past that have invested in his ideas and made fortunes. Well, he's here with us. And then there, we talked about Stephen Moore, and then there's Fernando Vildasola. The first time it really resonated with me, the fact that he owns a company that's called PACCAR, and his family built it, and it's a $60 billion company that if you're in the trucking industry, you know who PACCAR is. It's formerly Kenilworth, and that name might ring a bell. And I learned because my buddy Edward Gary owned his own trucking company. And when I told him, oh yeah, everybody knows PACCAR. I mean, okay, these guys are all for real. And Fernando is not only an entrepreneur and businessman, but he's also a senator in Mexico. So these are the types of people that could take us all over the world, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So we could stop the meeting right here, and I could ask the question, based on what I just shared with you, would you want to go into business with these guys? Would you want to partner with these guys? I mean, if there was a way you could make a fortune riding their coattails and doing whatever they do, yes. That's why I'm more ecstatic than I was 4 years ago when these guys came to the table, and I just immediately knew it. When I saw what Doug put out a video and what he had to say, that Doug has FOMO. Doug realized that the technology that you're going to take a look at in the next few slides here um, can be monumental, can actually be that brand that everybody knows is the brand. It's kind of like, there's several things out there that when you realize they're the only company, like for instance, when you think about an automobile club where if your car breaks down and you got a flat, who are you going to call, right? If you got AAA, you call calling AAA. Everybody knows AAA. Who else is as big as AAA? Nobody. They carved a niche in an industry that nobody else had. When Facebook came along, yeah, there was another social media company. It was called MySpace, but Facebook just wiped them, just crushed them. Then you look at what happened to Yahoo. Yahoo was a search engine, and then Google comes along and just cleans their clock. You know, we're that type of a company. Nobody has what we have. We're going to clean everybody's clock. We got no competition. We got products that first of their kind, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's a product called Alpha Pass. It's an AI crypto product, and we're going to show you all about that. Okay, what did I do? I just missed, I just lost the slides. Oh, I hate when it happens. I clicked something that was wrong. Okay, I gotta go back to these slides. Hang on, guys. Okay, that slide, that slide, that slide. Okay, let's go. So if you weren't aware of it, there's a stablecoin conference in Mexico City coming up next month, and look at the sponsors up top. There's only four sponsors. There's the Tower Group, there's Fireblocks, there's Tether, and there's Mediterra. And look who the keynote speakers are. Hakan Torahan, the CEO of Mediterra. And then right above Hakan is who? Bo Hines. Bo Hines, the CEO of Tether. Bo Hines was on the task force that David Sachs, the AI czar and the crypto czar that was appointed by President Trump to put the best of the best together. And Bo Hines worked in the White House, and now he's the CEO of Tether. And then just look at all the other companies that these people are a part of. We're looking at Bitso, we're looking at Fireblocks, we're looking at Ripple, we're looking at Solana, we're looking at another Fireblocks, we're looking at Pantera Capital, we're looking at Wallet Connect, we're looking at Google. Do you think these guys know a little something about business? And look who's there, right there in the center, Hakan Torahan, representing our company. If this doesn't give you a clue as to who we are and where we're going, nothing will. We're taking the stage, and we're getting featured, and soon we'll be the talk of the town. Now, the secret, I'm gonna stop right here and go right into this. Timing is everything. The secret, if you want to call it a secret, is to position yourself before the whole world reacts, to get involved before the masses come. The masses are coming into crypto. In the last 3.5, 4 years, we went from having about 400 million people worldwide that had a crypto account. Now it's over a billion. And the experts are predicting by the year 2030. How close is that? 2030. It's just 4 years out. By the year 2030, 5 billion people on the planet will be in crypto. We're leading the way with the technologies that we have. Nobody has the technology that we're going to show you here tonight. It's really spectacular. We have Miracle Cash and more. We have our own stores. This is one of the things that really attracted me. Ray said we have stores that are like Apple stores. It's crypto on the street, and they had them there in on the island of Cyprus. They will open them up in Germany and France and all those kind of stuff. And that was the initial pitch that we were crypto on the street. But it was the technology that really solidified me. The fact that this company actually built the technology. See, back in 2017, I was consulting a company out of Utah, Lehigh, Utah, and the founder of that company was a friend of mine. And when I called him just to catch up, he said, "Ed, I'm so glad you took my call. The timing couldn't be better." He said, "We just fired our president. We have a short list, and you're at the top of the short list." And I was like, "Wow, really? What are you doing?" He says, "Well, you know Bitcoin, crypto." I said, "I heard of it, Richard, and I've turned it down. I don't get it. I don't understand it, you know." And he said, "Well, I'm going to send you a white paper and I'm going to send you a podcast to take a look at." The podcast was a guy named Tika Tuari. And when I listened to it, he had to say the light bulb went off in my head. I said, "Okay, I'm in." So I was consulting the company, acting as president of the company, and I knew that the future was crypto. The biggest challenge, because I tried a few different projects, I was investing. I just looked yesterday. I was going through looking up some information. I don't believe how many logins I've had. I was on like 12 different exchanges and wallets, and I had like almost 100 different coins. I was just all over the place. And then I decided to trim it down and have just a handful. And really, to be honest with you, the one thing that I was solid on is Bitcoin. I'm what you call a hodler of Bitcoin. I don't sell it ever. I'll never sell it. That's to go to my, and now I'm doing that with Miracle. All these different real world assets that we have. Oh my goodness, just absolutely amazing. So Miracle Cash and more. If you look in the right there, you see ATMs, you see point of sale terminals, you see a crypto exchange, you see DeFi. We have a decentralized exchange. We have so many things. Again, we're not gonna go into the details of all that stuff. We have our own utility token. This is a super utility token. Every network that we're on, the gas fees are paid in Phoenix token. We got people stacking Phoenix token up the gazoo, and it's at a point right now where it's still under a penny, believe it or not. And if you ever watched the video by the gentleman that made a fortune in Gala Games, he talked about how he got in when it was less than a penny, and then it went to 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, went up to 84 cents, and the $11,000 worth of nodes he had produced $11 million. I mean, and that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here, the possibility, and that's Phoenix. We also have our Miracle Pay that went live just a few months ago worldwide. We have our own terminals. We actually are contracted to provide the gateway to crypto for Ingenico, Pax, Verifone, NCR, Shopify, and a whole bunch of other big names that are coming when those press releases fly. And people are going to know about Miracle Pay because those are the big companies that have been in business for decades, that are billion-dollar companies. They're the best of the best with well over 100 million merchant terminals all over the world. They chose us. Imagine that. And you could partner with us. And so we have a video here that's going to talk about a product that we just released, and it's called Score. And the product is needed, it's wanted, and everybody's going to know about it. See, we all know about getting our credit score. My wife and I just did a little deal in real estate, and we just went through this process. And they give you three different scores, and you're talking about Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and then they take the middle score, and that's what they decide. At least the bank that we borrowed from. So When you look at this, it includes the blended score of those traditional ways of scoring, along with our own proprietary technology that scores people on their digital assets. So let's watch this. This is a piece of the equation of what we're going to be talking about here tonight. Let's go.
To the traditional banking world, you are a blind spot. They look at you and they see no history, no profile, no value. But they can't see the digital empire you've built on the blockchain. Your true financial power remains invisible to them. Score ID builds the bridge, seamlessly blending your verified digital assets with traditional data, translating your complex financial life into one universal standard. The Miracle Score. Turn your digital wealth into instant action. Secure that luxury rental in seconds. Expand your purchasing power anywhere. All backed by mathematical transparency and a strict privacy-first architecture. Your data stays yours. Score ID, the trust standard of hybrid finance. Score ID.
So the Score ID project has a lot of things in it. And what we're bringing to market is a magic compensation structure and a new product called Alpha Pass. And Alpha Pass is a product that gives you a pass into the AI world. And we have our own AI company with our own AI products, and you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff released and talked about over the course of the next several days and weeks and months to come. But the Alpha Pass not only gives you access to these great tools, but it also pays you in a very unique financial way that is financial engineering, where a lot of the projects that we have going on, which by the way, we're tokenizing projects. We're tokenizing oil in Africa. We're tokenizing oil in Saudi Arabia. We're tokenizing that airport. And tokenization is the future. Real world assets are the future. And this Alpha Pass product is engaged with the SCORE project. It's part of this SCORE project. And so for $2,100, you're not only going to have all that AI stuff, but I'm going to talk dollars and cents here. And I'm going to talk, in a manner that we all kind of know. So I would ask everybody, how many people, have money in a bank? Do you have a checking account? Do you have a savings account? Everybody does. And if I asked how much are you getting, chances are on your checking account you're getting less than 1%. And if you're lucky on your savings account, you're getting 1%. And if you want a little bit more, you got to go tie your money up for a period of time in a CD to get 2 or 3%. And then you might go into a money market to get 4%. And that's called fixed income. And fixed income is a $300 trillion a year marketplace. And so if you really want to, take chances, you go into the stock market, and you might be smart enough to invest in the top companies. And it's very simple. There are funds out there that target the top producing, like the S&P 500. They're the top stocks out there, and the Nasdaq has the digital companies, and the top seven are called the Magnificent Seven. So there are funds you could invest in, or directly invest in those companies. And if you're really good, and over a period of time, it all levels out to about 11%. That's the max people are getting. And so when you really look at putting your money in a bank account where you're getting, a penny or two, or 1% or 2%, what you're really looking at is you're losing money, because the cost of capital between inflation and devaluation of the US dollar. The US dollar has been devalued by 10% the last 2 years back to back. And we're getting ready for something major to happen in our country. And it's not fun when you go into a recession, but there's one coming. And you're going to see the oil, the food, everything is going to be rationed, and there's going to be a lot of people hurting for a short period of time. But whenever there's economic change in the marketplace, there are economic winners and there's economic losers. We're on the winning end. So there's going to be a whole bunch of people looking at what we have just from a standpoint as where am I putting my money? Imagine if the stock market does what it did, back in 2008 when we went through a banking crisis, or what happened during COVID. My wife was freaking out because she worked for 40 years to create her nest egg, and it dropped by like 20 to 30% in just a matter of days, and people were lost their minds. And so when you know how to handle that situation and prepare for it before it comes, you don't get devastated by it. You end up actually earning from it because you know how to do it. And one of the things you want to do is you want hard assets. You want assets that have scarcity. And all of our products here that we bring to market all have that capability, like the score token. The score token is only 400 million max supply, just like Bitcoin has a max supply of 21 million. When you're dealing with scarcity, when you're dealing with a limited amount, as it develops and grows, the value goes up. And I'm not going to tell you about exactly how we're working with the oil company and the SPV involved and all that kind of stuff and the burning of tokens, but that's all in play here. And so these score tokens, when you look at this Alpha Pass, we're going to talk about making money with this Alpha Pass. The company actually leases back your licensing agreement from you and pays you $90 a month. So let's look at the slides and where this can go. Oh, we'll hit the slides after we watch this. This video is going to explain it. It's 2 minutes in length, and as you can see there, year one is $90 a month, and so imagine that. Imagine it's like buying real estate where you have a positive cash flow, but you don't have all the headaches. This thing you buy one time and you just sit back and collect. That's it. You get paid for the rest of your life. It's inheritable. It's transferable. It's saleable. You could build a legacy with this, and this is all about a legacy build. So let's take a look here.
We have achieved so much together. We broke limits. We built momentum. We proved what is possible. But now, it is time for something bigger. It is time to turn our success into a new opportunity. Introducing Alpha Pass. Pay once, own your lifetime AI license. With Alpha Pass, you get access to the AI world and the tools you need to move forward. In your first year, you can receive $90 per month. In your second year, that can become $120 per month. And from the third year forward, Alpha Pass creates an opportunity for at least $90 per month based on the plan conditions. And that is only the beginning. With the Miracle Magic Compensation Plan, you can build your own commission world. A smarter system, a stronger opportunity, a bigger future. We came this far together. Now, with Alpha Pass, we move into the next level together. The old walls are broken. The new world is open. Alpha Pass is here. Now it is time to take your place.
Bellator Life. To your legacy.
So we're looking at something where we have a whole bunch of moving parts, and I could just sense that there are some people that will look at this information in disbelief, like the majority of people did with the internet. When the internet first came out, people didn't understand it. I just recently saw one of the talk shows talking to Bill Gates about the email. And why would people want this? I mean, haven't you ever heard of a post office, is what he told them, These people, for a period of time, we all have this at times. We have a limited capacity. And a lot of people right now have a limited capacity. There's a buzz going on, but they're oblivious to it. They don't realize the storm is coming. They don't realize the world is changing. They don't realize we're moving from fiat currency to digital currency, that digital currency is the future. Eventually, they do. It's like the great Michael Saylor said. Michael Saylor is the founder and CEO of Strategy, and they're just with Bitcoin, they're just creating a whole new paradigm shift. And he said, people get involved with Bitcoin at the price that they deserve. It's like all these people, even including myself, could have got it at $3, could have got it at $3,000. And until you finally wake up and you take that red pill, and now you see clearly what's going on, uh, can you prosper from it? And everybody's at a different stage. And when you don't know when who, so here's kind of some of the products that we have floating around. We talked about the Phoenix token on the lower left. Mediterra, again, is the company that's going to be on the NASDAQ. That is our parent company. Miracle Holding, Miracle Pay, absolutely one of the flagship products that will be all over the world in terminals everywhere. Bellator, our marketing arm, incredible. Mirix, that's our token for the Miracle Chain. And that's just, some of the things that we're involved with. And as you saw in the video, you pay once and you own your lifetime AI license forever. And so when it comes down to what's called ARR, which is your annual rate of return, you put that money in the bank, and that's what you're getting, that 1% or 2% or 3% or 4% in a money market, and that's it. That's an annual rate of return. With this product, if you do the math on it, the $90 a month on a $2,100 purchase price, first off, you make your money back within 3 to 4 months right away. That's tremendous. Most business people expect, if you're in small business, and I own small businesses, accounts receivable, accounts payable, lease payments, note payments, Fed, FICA, insurance, payroll, all the headaches and trappings that go along with it, and all the worry. What happens there is you think about how long is it going to take for me to make my initial capital back. And I could tell you on my video production business, I made it back in 6 months. On the restaurant catering hall, we never made it back because that company went under because the landlord wanted to double the rent and it put us out of business. So you risk your life, you mortgage your house, you do everything to get started in that, in that shop. You're gonna create a beauty shop, or you're gonna create a landscaping business, or you go into the restaurant business, or whatever it is. People take risks. They have that entrepreneurial spirit, and they're willing to go out there and give it a shot. But the fact is, most of them fail. And so when you're looking at a product that's just $2,100, and you look at what the ARR would be on $90 a month and $2,100, it comes out to over 50% year one. Year two, at the 120, it's over 60%. That's the best ARR there is in the world. The product stands on its own. People who understand it, people who see it, as soon as you start listening to the video interviews of the people on the advisory board, your acumen and knowledge and experience just goes up, because you may not have ever heard people like this and had the opportunity to partner with people like this. And that's where we're at, guys. It's absolutely amazing. We're so fortunate and blessed. So now we're going to go into the part that I really like, and that's, what Jerry Garner said, show me the money. It's like my wife says, Ed, say it in cash. She doesn't want to hear about this, that, the other thing. Just say it in cash. Don't tell me about what you're doing. I tell her I'm going to Cyprus. I'm going wherever I'm going. No problem. Just say it in cash. You making money? That's good. Yeah. So now we're going to show you the money. The Miracle Magic plan is the plan that we're going to talk about, and it looks like this. We're going to jump right into a training mode here, as I present it. So we have a comp plan that's called the Miracle Infinity Pay Plan. It's the Miracle Magic Pay Plan. And MAGIC is an acronym. I thought I had that slide. I didn't put that slide. I messed up here. I misplaced the magic slide. Okay, magic is an acronym. Let me just make a note of this. Um, I got to find that slide. Magic is an acronym for make a grand in commissions. And you're going to see how you can make a grand on every sale you make. First, you got to get qualified. I call it Q4. You're qualified for Magic. To get qualified for Magic, you're going to start out at what they call a trainee, right? When you first get started, everybody when they first get started is a trainee. And when you buy an alpha pack and sell two, now you're a trainer. And you could train others and you can make $1,000 on every sale you make from then on in. So let's kind of take a look at that. The qualify for magic training is very simple. The first thing you want to do, the first step, is you personally want to qualify. You want to become Q4 Magic. You qualified to make a grand on every single sale. So in order to do that, the best way to get there is to buy one, sell two. Now there is an alternate way. I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't think it's good for business. It's where you don't buy the product but you sell it to others. That does not resonate with me. I cannot represent a product that I don't believe in. If I can't find $2,100, and then this product isn't good enough for me, and I don't want to represent it. It's just the way it is. I got to believe in the product. If I believe in the product and I want it, then I can talk to other people about it. Sometimes when you're a good salesperson, they say, "Oh, you can sell ice to Eskimos." No, I can't. I don't believe in ice for Eskimos. I can't. If I'm not an Eskimo, getting ice, why would I sell it to other people? Can't do it. So the best way, the fastest way to actually accomplish goals and objectives that you might have is to buy one, become a product of the product, and share it with others. And when you sell two, now you're qualified. You queue for magic. And the magic is make a grand on every single sale you make thereafter. So we have people right now that are just killing it. And when you see this go live, and we're extending this a little bit to Tuesday night, but when it goes live, it's real time. Somebody makes a product purchase, and all of a sudden, cha-ching, you get paid $800. Cha-ching, you get paid $1,000. Cha-ching, you get 800, cha-ching, 800, cha-ching. Watch how this works. The first step, you buy, and I call it buy one, sell two. You buy one, you sell two, you make $200 on each one. Now you qualified. Let's look at step two. Step two is to duplicate step one. And what you want to do is you want to get two who get two. That's the magic of what I call the basic fundamental building block. Just two who get two. That's just a total of six people. So now your third and fourth and beyond, you make 1,000 on each one of those. That's 2,000. Then the first two that they make 200, you make 800. That's 1,600, that's 3,200, that's 5,200 total with just six people that are buying a product that they want anyway. What I always like to do in training is just learn it, do it, and then teach it. That's all you do. You just learn, you do it, you teach it. We have a whole bunch of people in the process of doing this. What I suggest to everybody is how you get started in anything is how you get started in everything. If you're slow, if you procrastinate, it doesn't work well. If you throw caution to the wind and say, I don't need to know all that stuff about how this, that, and the other thing was, I don't care. I realize people want this and I want to share it with people. So just go out there and share it. And you might be an ordinary person and you show it to 10, you get two. You show it to 10, you get two. You show it to 10, you get two. You show it to 10, you get three. What happened? You're getting better. But it's actually even better than that. In our training, if you want to take notes on this, I'm going to talk real fast because I do this training separately. I teach people what a qualified prospect is. The biggest mistake new people make when they get started is they don't know what they're doing and they're approaching the wrong people. And they're trying to sell it to their friends and family that haven't bought anything from them in the past, won't ever buy anything from them. They don't want to buy from you, and they're like, but you got to see this. I'm telling you, you do really make some money here. And you get desperate and you sound like you're begging. That's horrible. Here's what you want to ask yourself, and you might even want to ask them: do they meet the criteria? See, I look at my time as being very valuable. I don't spend time with people that are not qualified for me to spend time with them. Here's all it is, three things. Number one, they're open to the idea of making more money. Number two, they have goals, dreams, and desires to do more, to be more, to have more. And number three, they'll spend money to make money. That's a qualified prospect. You show this to 10 qualified prospects, I would not be surprised if you sign up all 10 of them. I expect 70 to 80% closing rate. If I'm working direct with you, I would say, I guarantee you, we're going to close over 50% of these people. We show it to 10, you're going to get five. So what does that mean? That means you made 200, 200, that's 400. And then the next three, you made 1,000, that's 3,000. You made 3,400 right there just in your personal sales. Now, as they duplicate, all of a sudden those 800s come into effect. And the 800s are where it's the first two's first two. It's every single person that you enroll and you make that $1,000 on, their first two people are coded to you at 800, and their first two people are coded to you at 800, and their first two people. So if you just work it down, if you want to do the math, the grid doesn't fill in perfect geometric progression. It just doesn't. But here's how it does work. The average person does a little bit more than two. So on the average person doing two, that what you're looking at is you personally brought in these two people, and how many are underneath them? They wanted to qualify, they went to work. That's four. How many, you just double down. How many people do those four people have? At two each, that's eight. Those eight people, 16. Then it goes to 32. You just keep doubling it. 64, 128, 256. You just keep doubling it. 512, 1,024. You just keep doubling it. You end up at 4,029. And at that point in time, you look back and you go, oh my goodness, out of all those people that came in, you're going to have $800 flying at you every day. Just five people, just eight people. Imagine if eight people join, and they will. Those of us who are really treating this like a business, we know how it works. Stories sell, facts tell. When you have a story that could choke a horse, when your story is, hey, my first check, I made 5,800. Hey, my first check, I made $11,000. My first week, my first day, my first month, whatever it is. When you can make this kind of money, $5,200 on just six sales, of which you only made two of them, your two made the other four sales, and you're just facilitating the system. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. And by the way, that's a whole nother training for how you become successful. You do your job. It's like when the Patriots, New England Patriots, won all those Super Bowls. What they were famous for was people just do your job. Don't worry about the other guy. Don't try to overcompensate. Just do your job. Just do your job here and share it with people. They're going to love you for it. I get compliments all the time. I get thanks all the time. Robert himself, is always thanking me for being the one that shared it to him. And that, what that means to me? That gives me, I know that we're blessed in the process. It gives me such a sense of self fulfillment that I can actually help people and make a difference in their lives. It's wild, guys. Don't look at this as a scheme or a money game or anything, because it's not. This is real business. The whole world is changing to this, and they want the products that we have. They want to be able to go into a store and use the very terminal that they've been swiping, tapping, like Damon would say, chipping, to buy their stuff. Now they can actually take their phone, tap the QR code, and buy. They could buy a cup of coffee. They could buy a Rolex watch. They could buy whatever they're going to buy. Every retailer in the world is going to accept crypto as a form of payment. Just get that through your thick skull. I know right now there's a lot of people going, but I don't see it. It's not in the stores. These were my friends years ago when I told you 2017 I was working with a company. I'd spend a week out there at the corporate home offices. Then I'd come home on the weekend, and my wife would have dinner plans with friends, and they'd say to me, "But Ed, why do they call it currency? It's not cryptocurrency. You can't spend it anywhere. It's not a currency." Da, 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 da. And then I'd have to explain, well, the technology's coming. We're in the beginning stages of bringing this to market. It's like when Bill Gates, said every house is going to have a computer, and people laughed at him. They thought it was nuts. Why? Because their idea of a computer was an A-frame, an IBM A-frame, that only corporations had computers. People didn't have computers. Why would I want a computer? It's the size of a room. I'm not getting a computer. Yet this is how people think. And then it takes time for them to start hearing about other people getting it and using it, and then all of a sudden, yeah, Not only does everybody have a computer, they have multiples. They have a little one in their pocket. They call it a smartphone. It's actually a computer. They're carrying it around with them. We have the tablets. We no longer have those big clunky ones, but we most of us have a laptop. That's what happens when you could see something. One of my mentor friends of mine said, find out where the world is going and get there first. Guys, that's where the world's going. We're in the right place at the right time. The great Frank Sinatra said it best. The best revenge is massive success. Just go out there and do it. Hang out. If you hang out with turkeys, you're going to be a turkey. If you hang out with eagles, you're going to fly like an eagle. Hang out with the eagles. Do what the eagles do. That's what I learned from Tony Robbins. If you want to have success, study the most successful people, the most outstanding, the most incredible, and then do what they do, and you will have success too. And so, with that, I'm going to leave everybody off with this. And then, Robert, I'll turn it back to you. In everything we go through in life, no matter what it is, always, always, always remember the best is yet to come. To God be the glory. Robert, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to stop the recording at this point in time also. And then we'll just open it up. There's record. Where's the stop? I have to go back to share to find the stop button. Okay, share. When I share, I can go stop recording.